It's time to make some new garden beds. Let's take a look over here at one I made earlier in the season. This cost me $0 to make. I just used some pieces of scrap firewood here. Everything is growing great. And over here is an older bed, and I used treated wood to make this and some soil that I purchased to fill it. This is about an $80 garden bed. I've got this large open area here where I got this cardboard down. I want to make another garden bed here. I was just about to go out and purchase some more lumber to make one because that'd be the easy way to do this. But since we're going to be selling garlic next year, I wanted to make this bed for free, kind of like what I did with the first one I showed you here. So I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to see what different resources we have. You know, pieces of scrap wood like this. What we can do to make a nice garden bed right here and fill it for free and build it for free. Things I learned the past 3 years making YouTube videos is people always want to give you free stuff so you can make videos and give them advertisement and sell it to your followers. Now, if you've been following this channel long enough, you know that I'm all about saving you money, and I'm not going to push a product that I would not use myself. So something like a metal raised garden bed that's going to cost you over $150 and sometimes in the $300 range. I'm not going to get that for free so I can make a video and they can make money off it and you're going to buy that product. We're going to try to use the resources we have and just do it for free because the end goal is really growing healthier food for less cost. So I'm going to use what I have here. I got some leftover wood, some American elm. When it comes to firewood, American elm is one of the toughest woods to split. So my plan here is to cut these into 12-inch lengths. That's how tall I want my garden bed to be. And I'm gonna try to at least split them straight down the middle. It's gonna be tough, but I think we can do it. If you thought metal was durable, have you ever tried elm? Ugh, look how heavy that is. Get out of here, cockroach. Ugh. Good job. All right, watch out, Robert. I gotta put this giant log on here. Whew.
I'm gonna try to split this big log.
We sure are. I'm gonna use the 8-pound maul. Robert, it's a good thing we only gotta make a bunch of these. All right, did some chopping, got everything chopped up. Made myself a little mock-up here of what I want this bed to look like. Everything fits the way I want it to. And I took a Sharpie, made a couple little number marks around here so I know what goes where when I move these. And now I'm going to take all these, put them into the tractor, and move them over to the garden. All right, we got the logs here. This is where we're going to build this bed. In this area, I've had this cardboard out here uncovered for a very long time. It's helped kill off a lot of these weeds in here. Still some spots that aren't covered. So before I start making this bed in here, I'm gonna take this cardboard I got, we're gonna put it in here and cover the ground. Now I still got people telling me how bad cardboard is to put in your garden. Someone that's been using cardboard for a while now, I can tell you, cardboard is completely safe to use in your garden, just the plain brown stuff. The only problem you're gonna have with cardboard is you don't use enough. I am up to 2 to 3 layers anytime I do anything in my garden now because I know that weeds are gonna grow right through it. And I'm sick of adding more and pulling weeds. And now with this cardboard down, I can reference that photo I took of my mock-up, and I'm going to put that bed in this area. Hopefully I can get it right the first time, or else we're gonna have to shift everything a little bit. We're trying to focus on making sure we still have enough room between all our garden paths here. If I go to fill this up, some of these outer pieces might fall. So I'm gonna go ahead, got some of my free wood chips here. We're gonna start stacking some more wood chips, at least on this side of it. And while we're at it, I filled up all these areas here with some more cardboard. I'm gonna go ahead, I'm just gonna put wood chips all the way around this. We're getting to the exciting part where we're gonna start filling up this garden bed for free, which is pretty cool because filling up the garden bed seems like it's the most expensive part. And for you old school followers, we're going to do a funeral. And all you people that like growing mushrooms and watched my video on growing oysters, we did a straw bale where we grew some oysters. Well, it's time to bury that straw bale. It is done producing. So what a perfect opportunity here to put it in the bed. But before I can do that, I'm still trying to put cardboard down here. I want to get some wood chips in this area, but I have all these volunteer tomatoes growing, so I can't do that. So what I'm going to do with all these edible tomatoes, I'm going to take all these ripe ones, I'm going to put them in a bucket. The chickens are going to eat them. We're going to cut these, and we're going to throw these in this garden bed. Let's go ahead and give her a yank. Look at that giant tomato plant right there. I'm just going to go ahead and toss that right in the bottom of this garden bed. And while we're at it, we got some burdock growing here. Let's go ahead and rip some of those leaves out and toss them in there. Here's what's left of the oyster straw bale. We're going to take this, throw it in this garden bed. If there's any mycelium left, they're going to chow down on all these wood chips and this cardboard. Worst case scenario, this stuff is going to feed the worms and other fungi like the wine caps. They like to eat competitive fungi. They're going to come in here, break this down even more. Got a bucket here full of comfrey. We got lots of comfrey everywhere. Got some Jerusalem artichokes, these sunchoke cuttings. We have some dock leaves. Take all this stuff. We're going to just throw all this in here as well. All that in there. I'm going to pat her down, get it nice and flat, because now the fun starts. We're going to start putting the good stuff in here, the stuff we can plant into. Since our plan is to only plant garlic in here this season, we only need about 6 inches of good plantable soil. So we're going to keep filling this up. And I think the point I'm trying to make here is just find some stuff around your property you can use, whether it's wood chips like I have here, tree branches, weeds without seeds in them. Use all that stuff to fill up this bed most of the way, and then top it off with the plantable stuff. So I need a little bit more to fill this up. I have my 18-day compost system here. We have some unfinished compost right here. It's almost there, but not quite. We're going to take some of this. We're going to put it in the wheelbarrow, move it in there, fill up more of this bed. To make sure we're nice and even, I like to go hands-on here. I'd recommend washing your hands after doing this with this unfinished compost. No telling what's growing in here. It's time to fill her up with the good stuff. Good stuff is going to be some homemade compost and chicken run material. Got this nice homemade sifter here with 1/4-inch hardware cloth. I'm going to come into the chicken run. I'm going to scoop up the bottom of this chicken run here. I'm going to run it through the sifter. The same with this stuff inside here. In between that and my homemade compost, that's what I'm going to be growing my garlic in. I always encourage everybody to make compost. Doesn't matter how you do it. I've showed you several different ways on this channel. If you got chickens, that's probably the easiest way. If you don't have chickens, the 18-day method is the best way to do it. I've made a lot of compost this year. Because I made a lot of compost, I can take it, I can sift it, and fill my garden beds. If you have not been making compost, compost is relatively cheap if you get it in bulk, but I've found it's really not that good. But you can always do it next year, and we fill our garden beds every single year as it sinks down. So If you gotta spend money now, that's fine, but in the future, let's look ahead. Let's make compost at home. This is what the sifted chicken compost looks like. We blended it up nice in here. Real good stuff. Some of my favorite stuff to use around the garden. I've added the aged 18-day compost that's been sitting in here to the inside of here. And I did not sift it because I want some of these bigger chunks in here to feed these microbes. But look at this. This is really good stuff right here. You can grow right into it. And here she is, all filled up. Topped her off with some sifted chicken compost. This bed did not cost me a single penny. So when it comes to gardening, it doesn't really matter how much money you're going to spend. It can come down to your resourcefulness of what you can use to make stuff. You can find scrap wood, you can find rocks, pretty much anything that you can make a border, you can make a garden bed. And everybody can make compost. I'm going to spend the winter, I'm going to make a bunch of these along this fence so I can grow some cucumbers, maybe some squashes or melons. And we're going to keep going with these wood chips and cardboard and fill in the rest of the new areas of this garden. I hope this video inspired you to use the resources you have to make garden beds for free. Thanks for watching.